things are same for each of them, or it differs if the role is different? So if we talk about the challenges one faces in self-learning, so we don't get end-to-end knowledge, right? That
Yes,
is the very
yes.
first thing. And especially in this role, the clinical part knowledge.
Yeah.
How do you got your current job? Or how do you started with us, that we have discussed, but how do you got your current job?
My whole journey is very interesting for everyone else, and even for me.
Is AI gonna impact this role?
Yeah. So this is a great question. So
When you are working with us, do you remember we had a broadcast with a guy working in UK, right? Like as a
yes,
statistical programmer. So Trinath was the only person who pinged him. I do remember, I think. So guys, today we are having Trinath with us, and Trinath is working as a clinical data scientist. So the very first question we're gonna ask to Trinath, that how this clinical data scientist role is different from statistical programmer.
when we see data scientist, so this is very general basic. Even clinical research also have an data scientist role, which is called clinical data scientist. How it differs from as programmer or statistical programmer is like in statistical programmer or in traditional way, what we do is like we get a data set, we get specification, and we generate STDM add-ons and TMS. Yeah, so we are like constrict with all of this, like these or 3 to 4 rules. Okay, but when we say about data scientist, uh, it is very broad perspective, and here we have to hear what data scientists do is like they get to know how the raw data came from, where it came from, and the detail about the raw data set, like is it from the CRF or it is from the EDC, or is it from something synthetic data or something like that. So there are multiple uh, way to get a raw data set. So the data scientist understand the data set, okay, the raw data set, then they generate the specifications and CRFs and everything. Like they have to map the raw data to the STDM IG or ADAM IG. So the mapping scenario is also can be done by data scientists. So yeah, specifically if I say the main uh, role of a data scientist is like they get a end-to-end knowledge of the flow of the clinical trial data, or else you can say the clinical data. For example, from the raw data to the end of the clinical study report. So they involved in every part of.
No, this is very interesting, Trinath. What I found, some of our student who got selected in Pfizer, na? So Pfizer is giving the role associate statistical data scientist. Okay, and like you are working as a clinical data scientist, and still some companies are giving statistical programmer.
Mhm.
So if Pfizer is giving associate statistical data scientist, if let's suppose your company is giving you clinical data scientist role, and if a person working with a statistical programmer role, two things are same for each of them, or it differs if the role is different?
Um, our clinical industry have this particular kind of problem here, but these are just the names. So it doesn't matter associate data scientist, clinical data scientist, statistical programmer, SAS programmer, clinical programmer. So it depends on the job description or the workflow, but yeah, all those roles are exactly same.
Same.
And the only thing how data scientists is to differ, like they get the proper knowledge of the data exactly, and how can they interpret the particular data.
Mhm. And we can say they deal with more end-to-end things, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, what I found, Trinath, like about this role, a lot of people get confused after learning, getting knowledge after this role. So they have the confusion that, sir, there is a opening with the name SAS programmer, SAS developer, statistical data scientist. In clinical, the role was named as clinical SAS programmer. And because now what happened, companies have started using R and Python as well.
Yeah.
So companies changed the role to statistical programmer because the clinical SAS role was specifically telling that SAS is the only tool.
Yeah.
Because the name was also having clinical SAS. So now they have changed to statistical programmer. But eventually, as the trend is getting updated to, we are into data industry only. And data scientist is the biggest term we are having in the data world, right?
Yes.
So they adapt. The clinical industry is also following the same, the journal industry. What is happening in the journal industry, the data scientists, because our work is also like that only, right? We play with data, but we play with the clinical data. But earlier, the clinical industry have limit themselves into specific tool that was SAS.
Yes.
But now they are open with everything. So that's why they are giving the same name, the clinical data scientist or associate statistical data scientist. So I think the clinical industry is following the journal trend, which is happening in all the industry,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now it is not limited to closed source or limited things because we have privacy and these things. Yeah, in clinical it matters a lot compared to other industry, but now they are open to it, right?
Yes.
And that's the reason they are adapting this data scientist word on this role
Yeah.
eventually.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Now, the very interesting thing, Trinath, you would like to know that how you decided that you're gonna start your journey as a statistical programmer. What made you, to just start your journey into this?
Okay. So this my journey is quite interesting, and yeah, it was very uh, downfall, and then it was very upside also. So basically, I started my pharmacy, B Pharma, and once I've completed, then I thought like let it was pandemic was going on, and we have introduced with clinical trials, clinical research. So at that time, before that, clinical research wasn't a much more in-depth idea about. Okay, so no one know about it, like very less. Then we have then I got an idea about clinical research, and then I thought to do my masters there. Uh, once it was the second year of my masters, where I thought like no, there is a different sector called CDM and statistical programming, where you go to a corporate or work on a computer based, uh, which is very different from clinical operation, which is the site of the field work. So I thought to, as previously I was more interested in programming languages, and like I had an experience of using Python also. So then I thought like, yeah, let's try CDM or statistical programming SAS. So
So this thing, Trinath, sorry to interrupt you. You got to know in your college itself, right? You have decided this thing in your college itself.
yeah, at the
That
final.
after my college, I'm gonna do like I'm gonna work in on this role or this industry. Okay. But how do you got to know? Like, are you like, do you got to know from internet, from colleagues, ki this role exists?
Yeah, so basically for me, I got this idea from my syllabus only. So we had a syllabus called we have a subject CD, and then we had subject called SAS training. So yeah, through this I got to know about these all fields of clinical research. Then eventually I went through few internet searches, and so videos of yours also about SAS programming. There was a course and few other YouTubers. So then I thought to move into it, but that was not easy because getting a job in statistical program and CDM is quite tough even now, and even in last, even it was the same 2 years before. So yeah, I worked on clinical operation field for 6 months. Then eventually I learned SAS in between, and then shift to clinical statistical program.
Like, you have taken your training, Trinath, after your college or during your college itself? Like,
No, we had SAS training in our uh, BFA, sorry, master's degree. But if I speak the truth, then we didn't got the training actually. So it was 40 hours of training of SAS, but we just got around 2 to 3 hours just. So uh, I got my training, exact training during my job actually, the 6 month chemical law.
Okay, okay. There are two ways of, once we decide that we want to make our career into this role, the next immediate step is to get the knowledge, right? Now, how to get the knowledge? Either from the training institute, either by your aunt. So, which one you have chosen? From the training institute or by your aunt?
Actually, I choose both of those. So first, I was trying to do self-learning because I had some exposure of SAS and I had books and notes, all of those. So, but uh, eventually, I thought like no, this self-learning couldn't be much more effective because there are a lot more. Because okay, I can easily learn SAS because SAS is a tool. But what about clinical SAS? So, what about the experience? What about the projects? So, for in that scenario, so I got a I got a talk with one of the senior CVM member in LinkedIn. So I contacted him and he suggested me go for a training and he suggested me. So I got the training. Then only yeah I choose both of those. But yeah, training part from a tutor is was very important. Like I got to know about STTM Adam and hands-on experience on working on projects.
So, if we talk about the challenges one faces in self learning, so we don't get end to end knowledge, right?
Yes,
That is the
yes,
very first thing. And especially in this role, the clinical part knowledge.
yeah,
Okay, okay. That part was cleared once you got the knowledge from the tutor or someone else who was
yes.
expert into that. Now, once you completed your training, Trinath, how much time it took? Like, because someone gets a job within 6 months, someone 1 year, someone 2 year, someone maybe 3 year, and that period is not, right? That period is like we feel a lot.
Yes.
We feel like why we are not getting this, why we are not getting interview. And that's the same case with every second student, right? So, first of all, the first question is how much time it took. The day you completed your training, the day you decided, okay, I'm having complete knowledge, now I'm gonna start looking for a job. From that day, exactly how much time it took to get a job.
For me, it took around 5 months.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. It took 5 months. I survived on my savings during that
okay.
3 months. So, yeah.
Mhm. What's your suggestion like for the people who are looking for a job? And this process takes time, right?
Yes.
After training, we have to wait for getting the opportunity and then getting the job.
Yeah.
So, what's your suggestion for the people who are into this stage? Because most of the people, those who are learning and those who want to get entry, they are into this stage, right? The training part
Yes.
is fixed. Key within 3-4 months, you're gonna complete your training. You're gonna complete your training. But after that, no one knows how much exactly the time gonna take for herself or himself, right? Or the candidate. So, what's your suggestion that what made you to get the job quickly compared to others? What is something you have done and what others can do?
This is a good question, and like, uh, it is very important to know everyone uh, that what is the timeline and what is the time frame someone can get a job or get an internship even. Okay. So yeah, to all the viewers, I want to say like whenever you complete your training, it doesn't matter. So prior to that, important thing you have to know like no one gives a guarantee that you will get the job. So this is the first thing you have to keep in mind because even the tutor, even Sugam sir, no one have the uh, power like that they can 100% assure you like you will get a job after the training is over, immediate effect or within 1 to 2 months. So this is what you have to take it in your hand. So yeah, uh, everyone faces this situation, not the 90% or not 80%, or everyone faces this particular problem. So what you can do is like first of all complete your training and get complete understanding of both the tutor and the work what the training person is actually uh, helping you to understand and get complete knowledge. And also that training should be 40% of your effort and the rest 60% should be your effort. You have to go to the you have to do your practice. You have to go and understand what are the topics in it because a teacher can teach you the surface level that you can ultimately understand. But to get more details, to be the top 1% or top 10%, you have to go and work yourself and go and understand each details of the training. So what I did is like I I got to know about SAS, and I got to know about this guideline specification, STTM guidelines, and I went through all of those guidelines. I went through STTM, and not only the tables where it have mentioned the variable description and the series note. Instead of that, I went through the examples of each domains. I went through each of assumptions of each domains, and yeah, I got to know about a lot of more. Okay, so uh, yeah, this implementation guideline helped me a lot to understand the deep knowledge of cities. Then what I did is like I started to be uh, active in LinkedIn, and I started posting content. So I try to post something different that usually everyone, because nowadays everyone usually post this on LinkedIn. They post some SaaS questions, they post some of the guidelines even. Okay, but yeah, that was the things I did since 2 years ago, and then I started connecting to peoples, and yeah, I tried the traditional way, like connecting to them and then asking for job or referral in the companies, and uh, yeah, whatever you are facing currently right now, that was the same it was in 2 years back. They will say, okay, I will reach out to you once there is an opening, and this is what exactly even I am saying right now to people. So this is not the correct way, and there is there is no such template to get a job by asking LinkedIn. So that doesn't work on everyone. So try to connect, try to be frank, or try to understand what they are working on, not just asking that like get me a job or something. And then after that, I got a job on on that basis only. So on LinkedIn basis, yeah, that's why I worked on CSS.
Trinath, I'm having a very strong, example.
Mhm.
We say them beggar, right? Those who ask like on the roads money, right? Beggar, the word which was used for them.
Yeah.
And there are startup companies who raise the fund, right?
Yes.
So they get millions and billions.
Yeah.
And a beggar, after that, like they also earn good money, but they like in pennies, right? They get money like in pennies, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, right? And whereas the startup who raises funds like millions and billions, what is the difference between them? Because startups or those who are having knowledge, those who are working on their self, uh, they seek the investment, right? That we are doing something great. Do you want to be part of this?
Yes.
Or I'm having something great. Would you like to invest?
Yes.
So don't be guys here with the beggar mentality. Don't go and ask someone with a beggar mentality that please give me a chance. Like I believe right now that you should show them that what you are having,
Yeah.
and before reaching out to them, you should think about it. What do you want to tell them? What you are having? Because what I believe, guys, even if I look back and see my progress and whatever I see, like, did I ask someone and did they have given me? No. Is the world is bad? No. But the world works on the same concept. If you have something to give, they're gonna take you in. If you don't have, you're gonna be there only where you are. So you need to show them, you need to show others that what you have. And until unless you don't have, until unless it is not working for you, work on yourself. And this is the way we got Trinath into our team. So Trinath, in the past, he have worked with us. So what he did that I don't know what he was, doing earlier, but the time we hired, he was posting on LinkedIn related to SDTM or Adam maybe. Okay, how to create the data set. And at that time, what was the case? We were having a study and we wanted to standardize the codes. And what is happening? Me, after spending 4, 5 hours or 7 hours with system, I was not liking this part. That again, I need to spend time with this. So I thought, okay, this isn't like something. I need someone who can handle this. Okay, and so I found Trinath have posted the same thing, like creation of SDTM. I thought, okay, let's connect. We connected, and I was like, already in my mind, I was like, this guy is done. I'm gonna select him, and if he is like, if he agrees. So here, what happened? Trinath showed himself as an investor. Already, he showed on the internet, like on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't I hired someone else? Why Trinath only? Because he have shown his capability on LinkedIn, what he can do. And then we have a discussion, and that's all. It was a quick thing, right? The same concept work with other companies. If you have something to show them, there will be like 100 people like Trinath, but they were not doing the same thing what he was doing. He was doing something unique. He was trying something more. And as he told, he spent time with SDM IG. So he went into different level. Instead of just writing question and solving question, he went into the end goal, like creating the SDTM item on LinkedIn itself. And that is what it made a click to me as well. Okay, I need someone to handle, because if someone can handle this, he can easily do the smaller task, right? And that's how this journey started. Now, Trinath, this is the question to you. Don't you think like we were like a training institute, right? Yeah, we are having this thought of opening a separate part of us that will be working as a CRO. But at that time, we were purely training institute. So don't you have thought about it that I was looking for a job and I'm getting a job in a training institute, that to revise the code and all those things. So what was your thought at that time?
At that time, when you gave me that opportunity to work CSA, and then like I thought like I achieved something, but in my mind it wasn't there like, oh, it is a training institute or it's a CR or it's a sponsor or anything else. Like, yeah, I just thought like, yeah, what I was trying to do in LinkedIn, and I think I have going to start my journey here. There was nothing in my mind. I said, even if sir will say, do it for free for 5 months, I would do it for free even also. So in that time, this was my thought, and yeah, I think that that was fruitful.
When Trinath started his journey, the very first thing he did, what I can decode from him, uh, he started working a lot on himself. Then the second step, if I have to decode with my eyes, Trinath, what I have seen, you worked, as you have shared as well, what I have seen, you worked a lot on yourself in the beginning of your journey, and then you started showcasing your skill on LinkedIn, and you directly went to the top line, like creating SDM model
Yes.
instead of solving question or small thing. And then when we had a discussion, uh, the conversation was also smooth. It shows that you didn't have the restriction that I want this much salary in the beginning, or I want purely CRO, or I want purely this. So that have given you a lot of flexibility in your journey, and you have learned a lot, or you are going to learn, I feel, a lot, because you're flexible. You're not rigid to something specific, neither with the salary, neither with the work. You are ready to work here and there. And that's how you're gonna get the entire knowledge of everything. We're gonna hire you in future as well. I feel uh, he can utilize you everywhere because you are flexible to it, and it's gonna give you a lot of opportunity as well, because you're gonna learn the entire process end to end, because you're having that flexibility. And the same happened with us. We hired, and he started working on the codes, and someday we do a lot of things like broadcast and all those things. So I've given him a lot of tasks, sometimes LinkedIn related, sometimes some other things, sometimes clinical related, sometimes automation related, sometimes like making ready interview questions. So he have done everything. And what I've seen finally after some time, uh, the level of hard work he did, he achieved. He got something better, right? So if you follow, guys, this methodology that in the beginning, if you don't get exactly, but in the beginning, I think Trinath, we need to work on ourselves for sure, right?
Yes.
At beggar and investor mentality, right? So one need to be like you need to be entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
You should feel you are a company, and why someone should like come to you, or you gonna hire a candidate. Why he gonna are you get giving better salary or what?
You have
So
to
why someone
market
should
ourselves properly, like
yeah
someone
yeah.
can get.
So this is something what I found that was great in Trinath. And Trinath, so now let's talk about your current role and responsibility. So while working with us, what are the things you have learned? And now you're working with a CRO. So what you have learned over there, or you are learning over there?
Okay, so my main priority was like to get an experience of on a project. Okay, so before that, I want to add something from the previous question only. So if before starting my journey, my proper mentality was like I'm gonna be like an software engineer or something. Okay, so in that sense, even at that time, last 2 to 3 years, I think I had my portfolio. I had my own website where I post my projects and everything. So my mentality then was like to work on anything that can help me give me an experience on my field. So when I was working with CSA, then I thought you told me like we were gonna work on a project. Then yeah, I worked on STDM Adams, TFLs. Then yeah, other than that, uh, we have even worked on clinical notes, slides for the classes. Yes, and even for the even for podcast interviews, also I've collected questions, everything. Yeah, that was a great journey there. Now, currently, where I'm working, so we what we do is like we are Python programmer doing the same clinical STDM Adams and TFLs in Python program.
Now, one question, Trinath, that you are doing the same thing on Python. Mostly the people working on SaaS would like to know your experience. The same SDM, if you're creating on Python, how it is like. It is like easy or something better, or it is same but efficient. What are the difference you found like from your and
So the main difference is like SaaS is on the top even now. Okay. So even for creating HTTM items and TFLs, SaaS is on the top, and the syntax is very simple when we come to R or Python or even Ruby. Okay. So this, but when we are doing HTML atom in Python, it gives an flexibility. It gives an flexibility, and even this Python programming helps us in automation, and it is not much difficult as other programming. Python is quite easy. Like I said, Python is quite easy and flexible, and due to its open source nature, uh, this is now being preferred in this market other than
okay, earlier people were thinking in this way are gonna replace SAS, and now Python also, all these things started. Then eventually I felt that nothing gonna replace other tool, not SAS or R anyone gonna replace. But now the candidate should have these all softwares knowledge, even SAS as well, R as well, and even Python as well. But what I found that because open source is having the wider market reach is more, and update is more in R and Python compared to SAS, because it is earned by a lot of billions of people like you and me, right?
yes.
So, and for the same reason, customization is available more in R and Python. Now, what
I
do you
want to
think?
add on it. I
Yeah.
want to add on it. So as open source is growing now in clinical industry, because it was it was growing on other industry, but nowadays in clinical, science won't be completely replaced because science is very good at creating data set HTML. And if I talk about R programming, it is quite more flexible for table listings, mainly figures. R is very good at it. But and talking about Python, that is very easy for automation and machine learning, because the programs that we have designed gonna be ultimately future gonna be machine readable. So yeah, SAS and R can be machine readable, but Python, due to his vast contribution in machine learning, is gonna be more into machine learning. So that's why not any programmer is perfect, and you as a programmer you should be knowing all those programming knowledge, because it doesn't matter, you don't have to go to in depth. Just you have to have a surface level idea that you can understand the programming code completely, the program.
Now, what suggestion you're gonna give to fresher if someone is, plan to get into this role? So most probably the next step will be like getting the required knowledge. In the software part, which softwares you gonna suggest to learn? Only SAS or SAS R or Python? Like, what's your suggestion?
Once you have decided to get into this industry, get first of all go for SAS programming, because that is the safest thing you can do right now. Because if you go with R or Python, then it's gonna be quite difficult to get a job currently. So in that case, go for SAS first. Go in depth, understand SAS completely, base and advanced, both of those. Then it's your wish to choose R or Python, because R is quite morely used in the industry than Python. It depends. So it's your choice. You can go with R or Python. Uh, yeah, those two are optional and anyone should be and required. Okay, SAS plus R or Python. If you go with R and Python, then that's good. Both of those. Yeah, once that is done, when that is done, these three tools, programming language is quite important. Other than that, there are quite new things coming up to industry. So first thing is like you have to have a proper knowledge of Pinnacle 21 validation rules. Okay, so yeah, that having that knowledge, why I'm suggesting that, because having that knowledge will give you an in-depth knowledge of where the program will get error, where the dataset will get error. So that is more guideline related thing. So once Pinnacle 21 you have got the idea, then go with STDM, IG, Adam IG. Okay, in depth, because STDM IG not only have the normal, because it have few more. STDM IG for medical device, STDM IG for associated course. So yeah, those all guidelines is quite important as you have to know SAS. So yeah, other than that, uh, GitHub, or Git, okay, is very much important right now, because they are being open, working on open source. GitHub and Git gonna be a very good tool to invest on, and yeah, this is the few tools and languages that we need to have an knowledge of.
Like when a candidate asks me this, because sometimes I suggest them, right? I don't like directly put कि यही सीखना है, ये हमारा कोर्स है, बंडल है, ले लो. So because it depends upon, right? Like as we are adding, if from any institute, if you are learning more, they're gonna charge you more, right? For sure. एक सॉफ्टवेयर का उसका फीस होगा, दो का दो और तीन का तीन. Now what I feel is SAS and R in software part. Okay, or else if you want to go with only one language, choose SAS in the beginning if you cannot afford the second, third. But the minimum I feel from my level, as per my experience, SAS and R. Because once you learn SAS and R, Python also you can easily learn, because you got flexibility. That much flexible you become after learning two languages. So the minimum should be SAS and R in the language part. And now let's come to the domain part, clinical part. So from the clinical part, few basic things one should must know. That is like clinical trial phases, CRF, protocol, SAP, mock shell, ICF. These basic things you should must go with first before jumping into other things, advanced. And then you should must read SDTM IG. And for sure, you should every day spend time, because that is not one day thing. Or if you're doing in certain days, you're gonna get exhausted and you're gonna leave it, because you don't have motive to go that long, right? Reading HDMIG and you're not utilizing that knowledge, so you'll lose the interest, right? For sure. So first read it up to 10 pages, 20 pages, whatever you feel. Then start creating data sets, SDM data set. And once you create data set, just check the information again into IG. What is written for this data set into IG? What assumptions, what derivation they have given, and why? Because everything will be written, right, in the IG, because from IG only spec is getting created. And from spec, we are programming that data. That is the flow. And if you want to understand more your data, just go to the CRF or a CRF. There in layman language, it will be written that what they have collected in the particular form, and from like in DM form or in CM form, whatever they have collected, the same is coming here into data set, right? Into raw data set. And the same raw data, by following SDMIG, we are creating SDMIG, we are creating spec, and from spec, SDM data set. That is what the flow is. So I feel first this should be must, and then we can go to Pinnacle as well. And then if you're, you want to advance more, go Python as well. And then further things, Git and all those things. So I think this is very much important, Trinath, right? Knowing exactly, because I feel no one has written this thing, right? Like, because not everyone is same, right? Someone might be interested into programming, so they can learn all these 3 tools in the beginning itself, either by their own, either by training institute, right?
Yes.
Because now in 2025, getting the data for learning is not a big deal. Like, you can learn from YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, anywhere. It's not the question now that I cannot afford, or I cannot go there. Okay. But the training institute, they make this process ease of, going through that journey.
Yes.
It will become smooth, because in the worst case, they're going to have some structure. They have corrected themselves over the time.
Yes.
So one should know exactly that if they are interested into programming, how much they can learn, and what they should learn. And if they are not, what should be the minimum. And further, they can add on.
Yes.
So as we have discussed, as Trinath have shared, even I have shared, you can go with the same flow. And if you do this much, that's going to be enough for you. And okay. Now, Trinath, an interesting question, that how do you got your current job? Or like, how do you started with us, that we have discussed, but how do you got your current job?
Okay. So this my whole journey is very interesting for everyone, and even for me, because those are very surprising. So when I was working with CSA, there was a conference in Hyderabad. It was from Verisian. So I went to the conference, and then we had to connect with everyone. So there was a networking section there, and then we got connected, and I got connected with James, and we have shared our thinkings, what his company is currently doing, and then I have said my experience there. Like, I had experience in CSA.
Okay, so how you directly, let's suppose, like that meeting conference which happened in Hyderabad only, right?
Yes.
So like, you directly reached to him, or how it happened, right? The initial kick, how it, like, you went directly, or yeah.
So I was very introvert. So actually, he came to me and for
Okay.
connecting, and he gave the speech. So I was quite interested to talk to him. So I was gathering my courage to talk to him, but he came to me, and we had a talk, and we said each other's thoughts. Then he invited us for a dinner, and he said, like, well, let's discuss in a dinner about everything. So we went there, and we had a dinner, and he he asked about my experience and everything. So then he said, he told me like uh, he have some statistical programmer in US. So he just want to he just want to add some stat programmer in India. So eventually we got he hired as an apprenticeship. So I worked as an apprentice there for for I think for 3 months I was apprentice there. Then I worked on every end to end, creating annotation to uh, creating TLS. So I worked on every aspect of it. Then yeah, currently then I switched. I was given a role data scientist, clinical data scientist, and then now I'm acting as a lead data scientist.
Now, if Trinath, if I have to ask you, like, let's suppose if you didn't choose statistical programmer your journey, what you would be like if not statistical programmer?
Okay, so if I wasn't an stat programmer or not in a clinical domain, then I would be in clinical operation path, either clinical research associate or clinical research coordinator.
Okay, okay. No, if you get an option to choose, it's not by default.
Okay,
Let's suppose you get an option to choose and you want to get that. So, what would be that?
probably pharma.
Okay, okay. That's great. So, a quick summary, Trinath, if you would like to share to freshers, especially those who are planning to get into this role, they are going to start learning. Basically, I feel there are three stages, like clinical trial phases. I believe this getting job is into three phases. The first phase is learning. The second phase is getting interviews because that is a long period. It's not quick, right? Getting interviews, and the third phase is cracking. So, what do you suggest, like us to freshers?
Okay, so this is the summary, and I will give uh, end to end talk about this, like how a fresher should go from start. So you decide if you have decided to get into this domain. So first go for a training of SAS. Get the training. It doesn't matter how much time it takes, because go properly understand it. If you are in college or in university, then that's good. Go with those flow. But if you are doing a job in other industry and you want to come into this industry, get a training, get a slot, get your time, and go yourself into some training on SAS. Once it is done, as training is done, then probably you will be having your knowledge on SAS, minimum knowledge on SAS, clinical domain like SDTM, MADAM, TLF programming. So these are bare minimum, bare minimum. And if I have talked about like this particular bare minimum requirement, so for before 5 years, so that could land you a job. In current situation, it won't land you a job with this bare minimum requirement. Other than that, what additional thing you can do is like go for R programming, R, then understand the domain knowledge by going to implementation guidelines. Not only understanding implementation guidelines, because I will share my own experience, because I read all the 456 page of STDM-IG, and even I gave an exam, a global exam on CDISC STDM, and even I am certified STDM programmer, but still it's not gonna be completely in your mind, because you gonna forget most of the guideline if you are not working on it. So read and work, and yeah, eventually that cycle is an like lifetime cycle. If you are not working on the implementation guideline that you have read, you're gonna forget. So this is the guideline part that you have to implement in yourself to be the top 10%. Okay, then once you are done with guideline, from now onwards you start working on uh, showcasing yourself and create a master, uh, like what I will say, a blueprint for marketing yourself. How you can market yourself, that you are something different from others. The main thing is how you can be different from others. So till now, that's great. You have knowledge of programming language, domain knowledge, and your experience in project in the training sessions. So till now, we are good to go. You start applying from now, but it shouldn't be like you're gonna stop your learning. Start with other tools. Go with Python. Go with a validation tool like Pinnacle 21 validation rules and control terminologies. Okay, you don't have to go through all control terminologies, but yeah, there are certain guidelines and everything you have to. Uh, at least you have to understand all of this. Go for Git and GitHub, and yeah, try to learn something that the industry is very less companies are working on, and it's gonna be boom because yes, go to CDisk website mainly. What I will say, go to CDisk website and yeah, spend your time in there. You're gonna get a lot more details there. Then yeah, this once you done this particular part, you gonna be on top 20%. And the main thing one can do is like get a blueprint to market yourself, and other than that, no one can help you. Only you can help yourself.
Is AI gonna impact this role?
Yeah. So this is a great question. So recently there was a conference in Hyderabad, Pharmasag. So it was the first conference, and I went there. There was a lot of presentation and a lot of things uh, is going on in clinical domain, AI, machine learning, and multiple things. So I won't say that traditional thing what everyone says like AI is not gonna replace the person who know AI gonna replace that is normal now. So what I will say is like it won't gonna replace you completely, but it gonna replace exactly. Yes. In my perspective, yeah, it gonna replace at least 40% of the work.
Mhm. Yeah, the same we have seen, right? Even if we use only SAS, so in SAS we have a topic macro, right?
Yes.
It automate our works, right? It is automating, replacing some work which human might have done, right?
Yes.
But because it's repeating and there is a pattern we have observed over the time, so we are just putting into macro,
Yes.
right? We have created a standard macro for that. And the same is happening in next level in R.
Yeah.
So AI doesn't, I feel, automate suddenly. It happens in steps. And already it's happening since long. Since long we are using macro, right? And then we got into R, and in R the macro is like they have more control over the automation, right? Here it is limited. So already things are going on. Uh, so those who are fresher, even I feel that if you are much interested into automation, first what you are creating in like, because anywhere you're gonna learn for sure the SAS tool, right? But I feel just start with macro topic. Automate some of the variable. Automate some of the tasks like importing, exporting data or missing values.
Yes.
How you just give the data name and it's gonna handle the missing value, right? So doing such small things gonna give you more confidence, and yeah, furthermore one can learn from internet. And once you're gonna get job, try to be the best. Be the best means learn the skills, required skills. What the trend is going on, what is upcoming. And I feel, Trinath, fear develops in human mind because of not having the knowledge. Like people get fear from night because the light is not there, right? So knowledge is like that light.
Yes.
Once you have that light of knowledge, you don't get this fear of because you're already into a lot of things. You are seeing that thing because you are not knowing the process. You are having that fear. Once you are into that process, because someone is into that process, someone is knowing, and someone have already worked into some part of that process, so they know already. Not the entire role gonna automate, but obviously a lot of things that is time taking or time consuming for us, and where logic is not something fresh logic, it's existing logic we are just doing again and again, so that gonna be for sure automated everywhere.
Yes.
Where something is like no logic, it's simply repeating and repeating. After 100 or 200 times it's gonna get automated everything.
Yes.
which is repeating simply. No logic is there, no discussion is there. That is what I feel.
Yeah, even when I was in that conference, recent conference, uh, Sunil Gupta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him, and yeah, even he was suggesting most of the students and most of the working decent working fresher or 1 or 2 year experience was people there. And even he was saying keep learning, keep continuously learning. And even he said like he had an experience of 3 decades in this industry, and even still now he is learning it exactly. So don't limit yourself like yeah the training institute gonna train me particular these tools and after that I will get a job. No, the training institute will help you understand what the industry is asking you, but to get into the industry you have to give your effort. Yeah, as previously I said, training institute can like help you get the 40% of all the topics and everything. Other 60% is like you have to put your effort. You have to go deep into it. You have to have a um, knowledge of different things. Because if you are not gonna be different from others, then yeah, obviously, even a software engineer who know Python or any programming language, he can easily learn SAS because learning SAS is not a big deal. But getting the domain knowledge is a very important thing. When you are working on a project, you have to know the end point of the project. What was the end point and on what project you are working on. So yeah, you have to be most unique and have to be out of the box, not just limited to simple things.
So that's all from my end, Trinath. Like, and thank you for giving your time. I have asked you today a lot of questions. Do you have any questions from like your end, like for me?
No questions for in my mind currently going on, but uh, yeah, there is no question right now. But yeah, sir, I saw your CSA working on the training protocol and the syllabus. Like what I can say, it is very broad, and yeah, you are doing great work, sir.
Mhm.
Yeah, working on Python and R also.
No, sometimes I feel that uh, let's suppose if I'm telling that one need to update himself and you need to get this and this. If I'm not only doing the same, how can like someone who follows me will
Yeah.
live, right? Like, so I believe that people don't learn from what you tell, but what you do actually.
Yes.
Uh, but I feel that in my office, if I'm not doing anything, how I can believe that that person should do? Nothing comes with ease. But if once you have decided that I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna achieve it. You have to work for it. No one gonna come and rescue you. Uh, your parents' role is limited up to some things at some level into some stage. Your college role was at to some level. Your tutor role is up to some level. Now it's up to you, and that is the reality.
Yeah.
In every stage of your life, you can figure out someone whom you want to blame if you want to, or else you can just believe on this concept that ultimately you have to work on yourself. This is what I have seen, that if now on also if something is not working for me, I can figure it out whom I want to blame, right? I can pick XYZ if I want to blame. But you should know that is not how the world works. The world works because you are here to give the solution, to figure out the answers, not to raise the questions. Okay, no one wants the dump, right? They dump the dumps, right? So you need to be the same person whom you want from others. Like, what do you feel from others? You need to become the same person and stay motivated. Even if you don't like anything, what I feel, uh, do something what you'll enjoy in longer term. What I feel still, because if everything is good, if you're not enjoying, do something which you love to do. But once you have started something and you felt like I'm not enjoying it, but do the work, you know, in a good way. Don't just leave it, like until unless you skip that work. Like skip means once you leave that work. If you are into something, try your best. If you don't feel that such long key, I'm not enjoying it, leave it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Right? The concept is very much clear. Because someone gonna replace you and maybe he gonna be the better. Everyone wants better, right? Why someone wants to drag someone? Why you are dragging yourself? What I mean to say. So wherever you are, try your best. I know every day is not same, but try your best. And if you are not able to do your best, do something where you can give your best. Do something which you love to do.
Being positive is good, but
Hmm.
working on that positivity is also that much important as important
Yeah,
as being positive.
yeah, because within that journey, one's gonna go through ups and downs. When downs are there, we feel like, oh, this is not my cup of tea. And when ups are there, we enjoy a lot. I still do remember uh, when I was in my like this company working in the CRO, right? I have worked in multiple companies, Trinath.
Mhm.
So when the salary get the day the salary get credited into my account, na, I feel like, oh my god, they are paying this much money. I should work hard. like eventually, I found that uh, I was enjoying everything, but I was not enjoying the work. Then I felt, okay, let's do something which I can enjoy and I can work well, right? Then I started this. Let's see how it goes. I
Yeah,
never know.
yeah, money
What is
can
to
come at any time. Exactly. If I will say the thing is, money can come at any point of time. Because if you have the quality, if you have the skills, the main two things, and if you have the marketing skill, these three, if you have these three features, then money can come anytime. Yeah, if you are not getting enough money, or because everything is all about money and peace. And if you are in your own field and if you are enjoying it and still getting less money, that's good. That's normal, because one day or the another you will get a good job and good salary. But don't stop working on yourself and keep learning everything. Even if you want to learn everything, go learn everything.
And one thing, Trinath, like when you were working with us, do you remember we had a broadcast with a guy working in UK, right? Like as a
Yeah.
statistical programmer. So Trinath was the only person who pinged him. I do remember. I think you only, right?
Yes.
So and then we had a mailing. So see, this is how good people grow, right?
Yeah.
He responded. He quickly arranged the meeting without any hesitation, and he was very polite during the entire broadcast. And
Yes.
that's how I can assume why he's there.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't mean like people who didn't grow, they are not good, but this is how it works. The law is same for everyone. If you are having skills, if you are a good person, you are polite, you're not rigid to the things, obviously you're gonna grow. Obviously, no one can stop you. Every company requires a number of people to keep their company running. No day company will start working by themselves. If they have started small, they're gonna be big and they need people. The requirement is there. Even one day the CEO gonna, leave the company or the VP gonna leave the company and someone will, get absorbed into that position. Someone else will handle that role. I always feel if you have that growth mentality, you're gonna be sucked up at some role and at something better. But that mentality, you should, the way it is there, ki get the skills, be polite, be flexible. One fine day will be there, you're gonna get it, whatever you wanted. If you have the right skills, if you're a polite person, you're behaving well, if you have patience, for sure, whatever you want, you're gonna get it.
And
You're
if
gonna
you are
take it.
enjoying,
At the end of the day, I know during like I haven't used this process enjoying because in the beginning it is very difficult.
yes.
When the things comes from here and there, and especially LinkedIn one day like there was a era when LinkedIn was like boon for us, a time period. Now LinkedIn is also creating another side effect. Like a lot of people are seeing that a lot of people are looking for jobs and they are feeling that fear. already this much people are looking for a job. If they are not getting, how we gonna get it? So the initial journey, what I have seen, the way, the YouTube market and everything is pumped, Trinath. One
Yeah.
1 crore package, 90 LPA, 50 LPA, 30 LPA. So people with the package getting 3 or 4 LPA, they are feeling low.
Yes.
Even I'll tell you this story. My students were getting means average package or starting with 3 LPA or starting a small company, they are not feeling good.
Yeah.
And eventually, one should be very happy getting your first job.
Yes.
But just because some of our students are leave, they got 9 LPA, 10 LPA, and the whole YouTube is pumped up with this LPAs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of social media and all this platform are creating fear as well. One should, ignore this. This is a journey. This is not like just about money.
Yes. Don't get into this FOMO. Yes.
Yeah.
Be happy when you get a job, and eventually you will get a high money if you are having that skill sets and mainly marketing skills, marketing yourself.
Yeah, I feel marketing yourself is like now becoming very important,
Yeah.
especially if you are good at it.
Yes.
One should be sure about it. Okay, that's all from my end, Trinath, and thank you for your time. And after long, we had such conversation, right?
Yeah.
After long, so yeah, we'll keep connected. If anyone is having any questions to Trinath, you can ask in the comments for short. If there is something specific question, we can create another broadcast as well if it needs, or else we can answer in the comment as well. We're not gonna check the comment and he can answer as well. And that's all, guys. It's like already a small movie, 1 hour 15 minutes.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity and giving my question.
yeah, so you're already doing great, Trinath. Keep doing and keep helping others. Keep sharing your knowledge. And the same way, no one can stop someone to to become something, to reach it someplace. Whatever you deserve, you gonna get it.
Yeah.
But during that journey, be polite. And because what I feel that once we move on from one stage to another stage, we don't have that feeling of being there, right? Because now I don't feel what is happening in the fresher stage. But once I get the call, I start feeling that.
Yeah.
Be helpful, but yeah, I feel still we all should remember this. Working on yourself is the first priority. Because if you're not able to stand on yourself, you cannot help others. Forget that. First, you have to stand for yourself and then for others. Like
Yeah.
help yourself and then to others. Right?
Yes.
So that's all, guys. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Trinath. And let's meet. Yeah. Bye bye.
Sir, I want to add something. If
Yeah.
if anyone want to get more idea or more knowledge into this industry and keep anything like and if you want to be more active in this industry and want to get all the knowledge of this industry, I have my newsletter. So can you add this that link?
For sure, for sure. You just share with Trinath. We can.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'll provide the LinkedIn of Trinath and the newsletter where he posts, what is upcoming or what is ongoing, and a lot of his experience, a lot of industry experience he put there. You can follow that newsletter. And even I was thinking this concept, Trinath, that if we do this live discussions right on Saturday, Sunday. So we can do a live discussion with you, and audience will be also there, where they can directly ask their doubts to you.
Yeah,
And plan
that
for
will-
that as well.
yeah.
Okay, and just share me the link of your LinkedIn and the newsletter. For sure, we're gonna keep in the description.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you, Trinath. Thank you.
Thank you so